stepping in
spectacular,
as well.
over the top. I mean, that was a full force shot to the temple. I mean, he's right now. So they wipe off his gloves, but you look at him like he's really feeling it right now. I mean, he probably has no idea where he is.
When I'm going to take your soul, and you're either going to give up or you're going to get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter.
Likely that one big shot's going to land if the guy's not throwing other shots. So I thought with less artillery in the air, less bombs in the air, that the guy would have a chance to get to later rounds.
Joe Rogan reacted to Jake Paul's knockout loss by laughing with Anthony Joshua, calling the fight a clear mismatch from the start. Rogan said Jake usually fights retired boxers or MMA fighters, not a real Olympic champion heavyweight. He explained that Joshua is elite and far above Jake's natural weight class. From a boxing point of view, Rogan said the result was obvious long before the fight began.
Well, realistically, it's one of the craziest propositions of all time. You take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists.
After the fight, Anthony Joshua made a strong statement and said the knockout actually saved Jake Paul. Joshua explained that if the fight had gone on, he would have broken Jake down mentally and physically. He believes the early finish prevented even more damage in the ring.
It's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's going to happen? I'm going to see a time when I'm going to take your soul, and you're either going to give up or you're going to get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct...
Anthony Joshua being linked to a so-called circus fight with Jake Paul immediately divided the boxing world. Many fans and analysts saw it as entertainment, not a real sporting contest. The size, experience, and skill gap were impossible to ignore. Joshua is a two-time heavyweight champion and an Olympic gold medalist, while Jake is still learning boxing. Critics labeled the fight a circus rather than a serious challenge. Simon Jordan reacted strongly after Joshua broke Jake Paul's jaw, calling the event harmful to boxing's credibility.
Because straight after the fight, I heard the question being posed to Joshua, will he now fight Fury? And then my first thought was, after what I've seen, who cares? After that, who cares if Joshua fights Fury? I like Anthony Joshua immensely, Spencer. Any exchanges I've had with him, I think he comes across terrifically well. But I fail to see where it's taken us. Where it's taken him, other than hugely increasing his bank balance. You know, I really fail to see what this has done.
Well, it's done nothing, but he was going to fight in November, like I said, and he's just gone in there against Jake Paul. What has it done for his legacy? Absolutely zero. But it was, you know, he's earned a lot of money doing that. And he's going to go again, and he's going to fight possibly February, March, and then there's that Tyson Fury fight that's looming that could happen in September, whether Tyson Fury decides to come out of retirement or not come out of retirement. For Anthony Joshua, he's earned a hell of a lot of money. This is prize fighting, and that's what it's all about. And that's what he's done.
Jordan argued that these fights blur the line between real sport and spectacle. He said they take attention away from meaningful competition. Jordan pointed out that Joshua already has wealth and legacy, so he does not need novelty fights. Even if a Tyson Fury fight never happens, Jordan said Joshua could easily walk away from boxing.
Earning more than Joshua. That apart, Spencer, 6 rounds to get Paul out of there. Reputationally, how does it leave AJ?
Well, thankfully it didn't go to points, because I think that would have been a disaster for Anthony Joshua. I think that he needed to get the job done inside the distance, you know, and he done it. Look, he could have done it at any given point. I think that he could have cut the ring off whenever he wanted to and got Jake Paul out of there. He took his time on that. He allowed Jake Paul to run around like a rabbit and throw the occasional shot from time to time. And I think he only landed one clean punch, didn't he, Anthony Joshua? And that was the one that broke his jaw in 2 places.
But I mean, you said, did you not, to us in this very studio the other day, he's got to get him out of there in round 1.
I did.
Otherwise, what are we seeing?
Exactly that. You know, and I think what we saw there was a little bit of entertainment. And that was pretty much it, but not entertainment that many people enjoyed, if I'm honest. I think that people wanted to see a demolition.
Joe Rogan also praised Anthony Joshua's speed, athleticism, and knockout power. He explained that Joshua moves like a much lighter fighter and has one-punch power that can end fights instantly. Rogan called Joshua a nightmare matchup and said these traits make it unrealistic for crossover fighters to compete with him seriously.
But this is a giant Olympic gold medalist heavyweight. I mean, Anthony Joshua is fucking
Here's the
terrifying.
thing that nightmares are made of.
And he's got that one-punch nuclear power. One punch.
Trainer Adam Booth gave an honest breakdown of the fight. He noted that Jake Paul did manage to make Joshua miss at times, which he said was meaningful. Booth explained that Jake's movement and positioning showed improvement in discipline, forcing Joshua to reset. While Booth made it clear Jake was not winning, he said creating hesitation against an elite heavyweight shows progress. Booth added that making a fighter like Joshua miss requires preparation, timing, and confidence. He gave Jake credit for his footwork and calmness under pressure, but stressed that these moments did not change the overall outcome.
Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul shared a ring. Your takeaways from the 6 rounds that we saw, presuming you watched?
I was impressed with Jake Paul. I thought that, following on from what we're saying, right? A few years ago, he was on Disney as a kid, acting up, and has decided to become a professional fighter. That takes balls, but he's obviously striving to be as good as he can be. You can see that in the way that he moves, the way that he is developed in how he's punching and performing. But to make a 2-time world heavyweight champion that's still live, AJ's still got something about him, to make him miss in such an accomplished manner. All right, so at times he was jumping out and running around, but there were times when he was well in range and still making AJ unable to land a clean, solid shot. He deserves a lot of respect for that. And then the shot that actually finished the fight, that broke his jaw quite badly, didn't put him out. That shot he threw with serious intention has put a lot of professional heavyweights to sleep. He didn't go to sleep. He actually finished on his knees, didn't he? Laughing and spitting blood out of his mouth. So, like they say, it's a special type of crazy and a special type of brave to do it. But I actually, hats off to him, because he showed that he's developing some accomplished little skills in there to look after himself. The size difference is always going to fatigue him.
I know everyone will come with the idea that, AJ should just go in there one round and smash him to bits, and that should be it. It was a big ring, right? Perhaps he could have cut the ring off a bit better, but would I be right in saying that regardless of skill level, if you forget about that with the 2 for a second, if someone is on the back foot and on their bike and doing what Jake was doing, it's difficult no matter who you are, no matter the kind of separation in skill level.
It's a big ring, and you've either got to run at him and look like a novice yourself, or just take your time and
After the fight, attention shifted to Logan Paul, who appeared to challenge Anthony Joshua and talk about revenge for his brother. Logan reportedly showed interest in fighting Joshua, but analysts quickly dismissed the idea. They pointed out that Jake trains full-time with professional coaches, while Logan does not.